He can score 20 points and 10 rebounds in a rookie season, and his exaggerated performance is unprecedented in the history of the CBA. He is the famous air hack king in the CBA. He is a local player, going back to 2011. Will there be a turning point in the future of the Chinese men's basketball team after an unexpected fusion of a soul from the later dynasty and 17-year-old Wang Zelin? Keywords of the novel. NBA's opening draw to old Shaquille O'Neal without pop-ups. NBA's opening draw to old Shaquille O'Neal. Download the complete text, NBA's opening draw to old Shaquille O'Neal. Read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. I became the owner of Emoji. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. I became the owner of Emoji, a residential area in QZ City, Fujian province. Get up for breakfast, Zelin. Lin Bei, who was sleeping soundly, suddenly heard a gentle and familiar female voice in his ear. Oh, here we go. At this moment, Lin Bei was staring blankly at the ceiling. Although it has been 3 whole days since he crossed over, he still finds it difficult to accept. Lin Bei was originally just an ordinary basketball fan who often played basketball. However, since entering college, his weight suddenly began to increase and he became less fond of sports. Therefore, he could only experience the charm of basketball in 2K games. Due to the pandemic, various industries in society were affected to varying degrees in 2020, and for the student party, perhaps that year will be an unforgettable one for them. Because the vacation that year was indeed too long. Returning to the main topic, during the long epidemic, Lin Bei, who was fed up with eating, sleeping, and eating like a pig at home, had a sudden impulse and opened an account at a certain point, starting his journey as a street fighting writer. As expected, although Lin Bei, who has always been a 3-minute hot, unexpectedly persisted for several months, he still reluctantly cut off his nearly million-word NBA mobile koi. That night, he called out several former high school classmates to have a few drinks. But what is this situation? I can't just cut off the book and travel through it inexplicably. Isn't that why thousands of people join the travel army every year? About 5 minutes later, Lin Bei, who was getting up and feeling quite angry, put on his clothes and walked straight to the restroom. Scream! Scream! Hatchui! In the restroom, Lin Bei, who had finished washing up, looked at the unfamiliar and familiar face in the mirror, and the slight pain he felt when he first saw it 3 days ago reappeared on his face. After gesturing several times towards the mirror, Lin Bei reached out and gently touched his face. Feeling the realism that came from the contact between his fingers and facial skin, he couldn't help but sigh again. Ah! It seems that all of this is indeed true. I never expected that I would become Wang Zelin. Damn it, damn it, damn it. That's right, the original owner of this body was Wang Zelin, the super rookie who averaged 20.3 points and 12.9 rebounds per game in his first participation in the CBA League. Wang Zelin, born on January 20, 1994 in Fuzhou, Fujian, is 214 centimeters tall. His father, Wang Changhai, once played for the Fujian men's basketball team and was the main center of the team. He also teamed up with the God of War, Liu Yudong. My mother Lin Huiqing is not bad either. She once played for the Fujian women's basketball team and became a coach after retiring, providing basketball guidance for schools and enterprises. Born into a basketball family like Wang Zelin, who was once a professional basketball player with the male player over 2 meters tall and the female player over 1.9 meters tall, he naturally inherited his parents' talents very well. When he was in 5th grade, he was over 1.7 meters tall. At the age of 14, he joined the Fujian youth team and was selected for the U17 national team in 2010. All of this laid a solid foundation for his later success in the CBA. Forget it, Wang Zelin is just Wang Zelin. Speaking of which, compared to me, he is a reliable winner in life. It has been 3 days since Lin Bei traveled here, and he has slowly accepted his new identity. Don't worry, brother. Since I have taken over your body, your parents, I will take care of it. Although Lin Bei's first impression of Wang Zelin in later generations was still based on the famous WCNM emoji, when he carefully recalled the series of labels on Wang Zelin, including CBA regular season MVP, national team member, Fujian team player and owner, Lin Bei felt even more that he had taken a big advantage. You should know that Lin Bei was originally an orphan in his past life. Although he successfully completed his university education through his own efforts, national policies, and the help of caring individuals in society, he was just an ordinary college graduate in China. After entering society, he was still a working person. After all, they are just a member of the group of 886, 996, and 007. On the other hand, Wang Zelin, who became famous at a young age, although due to his own talent, he could only stay in China and could not enter the NBA, for more than 90% of ordinary people in China, he can already be said to be a big winner. It's like a loser earning 4,000 or 5,000 yuan a month suddenly becoming a big shot with an annual income of millions. Lin Bei, no, it should be said that Wang Zelin suddenly lowered his head and pulled open his pants with a rough gesture. I am much more than myself in my previous life. Not bad, very manly. Just as someone was showing an indescribable smile on their face, a serious and familiar voice came from the first floor, which immediately frightened him and made him shiver. Shu Tan, Wang Zelin, what are you doing, honing and honing? Hurry up and get me down. The master of this voice is Wang Changhai, the father of the king. Oh, here we go. Every boy has a natural reverence for his father, and Wang Zelin is no exception, even more than ordinary children. Wang Changhai and his wife, who come from an athlete background, have been providing basketball education to their children since childhood and cultivating their son's interest in basketball. When Wang Zelin was 10 years old, Wang Changhai and his wife took him to the hospital for bone testing. The initial conclusion was that the child could grow up to 2.08 meters, but in fact, measuring bone age for children between the ages of 12 and 13 is the most scientific, so they didn't expect Wang Zelin to grow to 2.14 meters later. Of course, this is going to happen later. After going downstairs, Wang's father had already had breakfast and sat in a chair reading the newspaper. Wang Zelin secretly glanced at him, and the cover was prominently printed with, Fuzhou Daily. Dad, I went for breakfast. Wang Zelin's family of 3 is similar to most families in the heavenly dynasty, with a father strict and mother kind model. After a brief conversation, he walked towards the dining table. How do you feel that Zelin seems to be a little taller? It seems that his figure is already 2.1 meters tall. Just as Wang Zelin turned around and left, his father quietly lifted his head to look at his 17-year-old son. Forget it, just be taller, as long as the child is fine. Until Wang Zelin's figure disappeared from his father's eyes, he continued to lower his head and shift his attention to the newspaper in his hand. The Chinese Sturgeon team has 24 losses and 8 wins in the regular season this season, with a win rate of only 25%, and missed the playoffs. Inviting foreign teachers and recruiting foreign players, the team's performance is still far inferior to the previous seasons. Whose fault is this? Xuanxing men's basketball team is still very young, and their future is still unknown. Perhaps we should give them more patience. As a former main center of the Fujian men's basketball team, Wang Changhai has a deep love for the team. He hopes the team can become better than anyone else. At present, the development of Fujian men's basketball team seems to be in a dilemma, and Wang Changhai's eyebrows can't help but furrow. Jianghu, I'm here again. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Veteran Inheritance System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Veteran Inheritance System. Zelin, did you sleep poorly last night? Why did you wake up so late? After sitting down at the dining table, Mother Lin Huiqing walked over with a bowl of noodle paste. It should be noted that Wang Zelin, who had been highly expected by his father since childhood, has been strict with him since the age of 10, and has also developed good habits of daily life. In the past few days, my son's daily routine has clearly changed from usual, and no wonder the Queen Mother has such concerns. Ah. Oh, there's a little bit of it. Looking at the middle-aged woman in front of her with long black and oily hair, lively eyes, and a happy smile on her face, Wang Zelin quickly replied with a ghost in his heart. Oh, can I tell her that the dear son in front of you has actually been replaced by someone else inside? As an orphan in his past life, Wang Zelin felt the warmth brought by his family for the first time, which also made him more determined. He must guard this warmth well. Zelin, is it because the competition pressure has been a bit high recently, or is there something wrong with training? Upon hearing her son's words, Lin Huiqing quickly picked up a chair and sat over. The smile on her face instantly disappeared, and she was greeted by genuine worries. It's okay, Mom. I'm just a little too excited. You, don't worry too much. Wang Zelin looked at the woman in front of him who was constantly worried about him, and finally shouted out the most sincere, Mom, in the past 3 days, excited. What's so exciting about it? Although her son's answer exceeded her expectations, there was still less concern in her heart. I just remember those charity all-star games at the beginning of the month. It was my first time facing such a strong opponent of my age, but your son and I were the ones who performed the best. Aren't you happy for me? The Public Welfare All-Star Game mentioned by Wang Zelin is exactly the Public Welfare All-Star Game of NBL Gansu Tour. The two sides are the NBL 2011 All-Star Game and the Men's Basketball Dream Team, China Men's Basketball National Olympic Team, and Wang Zelin is the main center of the Men's Basketball National Olympic Team. In those games, Wang Zelin, who was sitting on the inside, scored over 20 goals multiple times, making great contributions to the victory of the Men's Basketball National Olympic Team. This NBL All-Star Game has also made Wang Zelin famous in China, and even some foreign media have noticed this young center from China. Okay, our Zelin is the most powerful. Then take your time eating. Your father and I have something to go out for later. After seeing her son's face once again exuding a bright and confident smile like before, Lin Huiqing finally let go and left with a smile on her face. Who? After taking a deep breath, Wang Zelin shifted his gaze to the rich breakfast on the table. The first thing that catches the eye is noodle paste, which is the most famous dish in Xuanzhou, and has even been featured in The Heaven on the Tongue. The rest are a male egg and a glass of milk, and of course, the original owner's favorite beef. Goo 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 goo. After seeing the steak, Wang Zelin couldn't help but let out his drooling voice. It seems that the rumor that Wang Zelin's father, Wang Changhai, said in an interview that Wang Zelin can eat up to 2 pounds of beef per meal and had already eaten more than 10 cows before the age of 18, is not a fabrication. So, I'm going to start. After Wang Zelin had breakfast, it was already 7:30 p.m. and his parents had already gone out. Zelin, we may not come until evening. There's food in the fridge, but if you don't want to cook it yourself, you can go out and take care of yourself. Mom. After arriving at the living room, Wang Zelin had already noticed the prominent note on the empty table, as well as the 200 ocean under the note. After putting the note and money into his pocket, Wang Zelin naturally spread it out on the sofa and prepared to take out his phone to play. Wipe, I almost forgot, this is 11 years old, where did you get pesticides? After touching his flip phone, Wang Zelin suddenly woke up. In fact, we can't blame him, after all, he was originally staying well in 2020, but suddenly returned to 2011 and became another person. It's impossible for anyone to adapt in just a few days. Looking around the empty big house, Wang Zelin's gaze finally fixed on a circular sphere next to the shoe rack. Basketball. Yes, it's basketball. Lin Bei, you need to remember that you are no longer the same worker from your previous life. Your current name is Wang Zelin, and your future depends on basketball, which can bring you everything. Go ahead. Sa Nian. The future is yours. After a brainstorming session, Wang Zelin stared at the orange basketball in front of him, his mind immediately drawn to it. Who? After taking a deep breath again, Wang Zelin stood up and walked towards the basketball. How small. This is his first feeling after picking up the ball with one hand. Be down to earth. After grabbing the ball with both hands and squeezing it fiercely, a feeling called steadfastness emerged from the bottom of my heart. Speaking of which, this is the first intimate encounter between Wang Zelin and basketball in the 3 days he has traveled through. It's completely different from the feeling he felt when he caught the ball this time. Although he knows very well the height he can reach in the future, he is not the same Wang Zelin as before. He asked himself, he didn't know if he could still reach the height that Wang Zelin could reach in his previous life. After all, the effort and sweat behind a successful professional basketball player are definitely beyond the imagination of ordinary people. To put it simply, this Wang Zelin is just an ordinary sand sculpture netizen and a fat house. Although thieves like to shout, "I can do it myself," online, when they really act recklessly and just cross over without any necessary systems, they are inevitably confused about the future. In the first 1 or 2 days of his arrival, Wang Zelin also fantasized that he would definitely have the necessary system, golden fingers, cheats and other travel benefits for travelers. But this is the 4th day. As the old saying goes, it's no more than 3 things, there should have been something long ago, and we can't force it if we don't. Never mind, even without travel benefits, I don't believe I'm not as good as my original self. Knowing that the future belongs to the era of small balls, Wang Zelin, after basically confirming that he did not have any travel benefits attached, also provided a rough direction for his future development. 1. Defensive ability doesn't need to be strong enough, at least it needs to reach the average level of NBA insiders. 2. It's best to have a good passing ability. 3. 3-points must be practiced well. In the era of small balls, it is impossible to survive without one hand being able to pull out 3 points of space. Don't you see Howard, who was known for being a rough guy in the early and middle stages of his career, also trained a decent 3-pointer during his time with the Lakers, at least being able to pitch in empty spaces. I don't know anything else, but Wang Zelin firmly believes that his shooting talent is definitely stronger than Howard, a rough guy. Of course, if you still have an average level of defense and good coordination skills, there is a greater chance of working in the NBA. The saying goes, how bold a person is, how great a land is. Travelers naturally have their own pride, which stems from their inner obsession. Since God has given Wang Zelin such a great opportunity, of course he must seize it well. The real idea is that since Chairman Yao introduced the salary cap, no matter how well he performs in the CBA, the maximum annual salary for local players is only 8 million renminbi. In the NBA, as long as he can establish a foothold and rely on the Chinese market, Wang Zelin feels that he cannot compete for an annual salary of millions of dollars. Come on, Son Yen. You must work hard to look at money. After changing into his training uniform, Wang Zelin came with a basketball and went to his own basketball court. Yes, it's my own, even though it's only half a piece. This also made him feel that his past life was a waste of his life, working hard year after year. It was only when he was almost 30 that he managed to make a down payment for a house of over 80 square meters in his hometown of Kaili City. Looking at them again, this gap is simply amazing. Let's keep going. Counting outstanding figures, let's still look at the present day. After silently reciting the book Qinyuan Spring Snow, by a certain librarian in his heart and feeling the imperial spirit in his elderly heart, a flame ignited in Wang Zelin's chest. Although it only has half of the field, its specifications are definitely in compliance with CBA standards, which are international arena standards. Why don't we have a quick meal first? First dunk a basket. Looking at the basket in front of him, Wang Zelin suddenly remembered that he had never dunked a basket in his previous life, plus 3 days in this life. A type of small basket frame in elementary school venues is not included. Just talk nonsense. Firstly, After dribbling the ball in place and feeling the familiar feel brought by the memory of the original muscles, Wang Zelin accelerated and headed straight for the basket. Dunk. He wants to use this dunk to put an end to his past and present lives. At the moment of takeoff, Wang Zelin had already begun to fantasize about close contact between his hands and the basket frame. He's going to deduct DDD. It has been detected that the host has received key items, and clothing, venue, and mental energy all meet the triggering conditions. The veteran inheritance system is currently being bound. Wang Zelin, who was in the air, was so frightened that the basketball he was holding tightly in his hand suddenly slipped away and crashed straight into the rebound. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Bug in the dumb system. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Bug in the dumb system. What was that thing just now? After landing, Wang Zelin shook his head, suspecting that he might have seen a ghost and had hallucinations. Roll on, where did the ghost come from? Don't scare yourself. I've already said that becoming a sperm is prohibited after the founding of the country. However, on the other hand, I have encountered things like traveling through time, and even ghosts are understandable. The old general inheritance system has been bound. Will the host start the system? Just as Wang Zelin was suspicious, the electronic synthesized sound just now rang out in his mind once again. System. It seems like something amazing has been discovered. The old general inheritance system has been bound. Will the host start the system? After repeating the electronic synthesized sound in his mind over and over again, Wang Zelin finally realized that he had not experienced any auditory hallucinations. The system dad is really here. Who? Calm down. Calm down. Remember, we are excellent successors of socialism, with 24 words of truth to protect our bodies. Start. Wang Zelin forced himself to calm down and whispered in a trembling voice. Didi, the password has been received. System startup completed. Scanning the host's physical fitness and comprehensive skills. Name. Lin Bei/Wang Zelin, default to Wang Zelin in the future, team. Fujian men's basketball youth team/Tianqiao men's basketball youth team age. 17 position. Center height. 210 centimeters weight. 105 kilograms. I specifically checked the player information of the 2012 Fujian team, which shows that Wang Zelin is 2.14 meters tall and weighs 100 kilograms. Let's give him a physical weight gain here. Arm span 214 centimeters. Body hidden properties. Lower limb strength 60, upper limb strength 49, speed 40, explosive power 45, agility 51, bounce 45, bullet speed 40, physical fitness 47, anti-injury 45, offensive capability by hitting 36, layups 58, mid-throw 44, long throw 25, dunk 51, pass 32, control 45, free throws 55, breakthrough 31, defensive ability, external defense 25, internal defense 31, backboard 41, block 38, snatching 25, comprehensive score 43, 23 individual ability values in total, with a lower limit of 25 and an upper limit of 99. A screen similar to the 2K player value panel suddenly caught the eye, and he exclaimed, "You're in a long position." I knew that as a standard accessory for travelers, our travel benefits may be delayed, but they will definitely come. Isn't this just here? After the surprise, the ability analysis chart displayed by the system in his mind plunged Wang Zelin's mood to the bottom. The highest is the lower limb strength attribute, with a score of 60. It may seem like it's not low, but when it comes to interior players, it's seriously unqualified. especially for center-forward players, strength is definitely their top priority. Although Wang Zelin is only 17 years old now, there is still room for improvement in theory, but there is definitely not much room for improvement. This is probably one of the major reasons why Wang Zelin's entry into the NBA was suppressed in later generations. Keep reading. With a height of 210 centimeters and an arm span of 214 centimeters, is it truly a domestically produced Tyrannosaurus rex? It's a perfect match for Griffin's arm span talent. However, speaking of which, being able to compete with the impressive NBA champions in terms of talent gives me a sense of accomplishment. I can't look anymore. If I continue to look, someone's face will almost turn black like carbon according to the system. If a player's individual ability value has a lower limit of 25 and an upper limit of 99, then their steals, defense, and long-range shooting are not the most frustrating in the NBA. According to the in-depth analysis of the system, the host's interception, external defense, and long-range casting have not actually reached the lower limit of 25, which is why your individual weak ability value has been additionally strengthened. I am still a poverty alleviation target in terms of emotions. Who do you look down on? Wait, how do you know what I'm thinking, this guy? The system is rooted in the depths of the host's soul and can communicate with you mentally, but of course, you can also choose language communication. The cold electronic synthesizer sounded again. Okay, you're high-tech, but I've had a short understanding. Wang Zelin replied in silence and then asked, can I block communication with you? Since everyone knows he can communicate with his mind, he certainly wouldn't be foolish enough to argue with the air, which may seem too neurotic to outsiders. Sure. Okay, can I ask where your system really comes from? Did you bring me through my inexplicable journey? Can I still go back? Soon, Wang Zelin threw out all the questions in his heart. This question cannot be answered. This question cannot be answered. This B system is a bit too low-end, isn't it? It got stuck when I turned it on just now, and now I'm just asking a few random questions, but surprisingly it got stuck again. Let's change the question. What are the functions of your system? What can you do to help me? This system has two main sections. The personal panel and the lottery panel. For detailed functions, please check them yourself. Gone. There are really low-end ones. Take a look at other people's systems, they all stuff all the information into the host's mind with a swoosh. It's my turn to have to look at it myself. Although his heart is full of wordlessness and roast, Wang Zelin knows that he wants to land in the NBA, marry Bai Fume, become the darling of the times, and step on the peak of life, and it is estimated that he will rely on this stupid B system. After a detailed look, Wang Zelin had a clear understanding of the roles of the personal panel and the lottery panel. The personal panel is the ability analysis chart that was just displayed, and of course, you can also view the ability attributes of other players through this panel. Easy to understand. As for the lottery panel, there are a total of 5 levels of rewards, namely bronze level, black iron level, silver level, gold level, and purple diamond level. Seeing this, Wang Zelin exclaimed that it was unreasonable. Shouldn't the golden legend be placed at the end? Why did you put the gay purple last? Do you look down on my golden legend? This is the first time that Wang Zelin roast about this stupid B system. To conduct a lottery, it involves one thing. Heat value. According to the system, heat value refers to the number and level of attention that the general public pays to the host. The host can participate in a lottery by obtaining heat points to obtain player cards, and ultimately inherit the corresponding player's abilities and talents. Bronze level lottery, each lottery requires 10,000 heat points. The player's ability score limit is 60, and the host can only specify to inherit one individual ability value from the opponent, black iron lottery, 100,000. The player's ability score limit is 70, and the host can specify inheritance of 3 individual ability values, silver level lottery, 1 million. The player's ability score limit is 80, and the host can specify the inheritance of 6 individual ability values, gold level lottery, 10 million. The maximum ability limit of the star is 90, and the host can specify to inherit 12 individual ability values, plus 1 talent, purple diamond lottery, 100 million. The maximum ability limit of a superstar card is 99, and the host can inherit all the abilities and talents of that superstar. WDNMD. Seeing the heat required for the gold and purple diamond level lottery, Wang Zelin felt a chill in his heart. 10 million is already outrageous, why is there still 100 million? You're so NB, why don't you go to heaven? Wait, the system. If there is also a group of people who often follow me, but they don't like me, can this group provide me with popularity values? Wang Zelin suddenly felt that this popularity value was like a fan value, but later fans were still divided into fans, black fans, and passers-by. Later there was a saying that said, black and red are also red. But I don't know if this stupid system recognizes it. I am most afraid of sudden tranquility in the air. Wang Zelin felt like the dumb B system was stuck. After verification, the system's heat value rule has been changed as follows. Heat values can only be generated among people who have a certain understanding of the host and hold a positive attitude in their hearts. Those who dislike the host cannot be generated. What is this? Did you lift a stone and hit your own foot? In an instant, Wang Zelin's heart was no longer cold, but directly shattered into countless pieces. The heat value is already difficult to handle, why do you like to talk so much? Do you think you're cheap? At this moment, he wished he could just slap himself twice. No, I'm not convinced. I want to roast. System, in this case, it's better to simply change the popularity value to fan value. What kind of popularity value is it? It doesn't match the name. After another silence, the cold electronic synthesizer finally spoke. After verification, the proposal is reasonable, and the popularity value will be changed to the fan value. Just as Wang Zelin was about to continue cursing, the B system suddenly said, considering that the host has discovered a system bug, which has successfully upgraded the system, the upgrade time is only 5 minutes. Please temporarily exit the host, and after the upgrade is successful, an additional compensation package will be sent. Before Wang Zelin could think much, the clear system panel in his eyes disappeared without a trace. ***, Intellectual disability, end of this chapter. Chapter 4. The Green Shark. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Green Shark. At the time of the system update, Wang Zelin finally got the opportunity to successfully try a few dunks, including the Flying Devil Duncan's NBA stunt slam dunk on the windmill. After playing several dunks, he had to admit that although his bouncing was not at the level of a matchbox, it was at most a brick. Standing up. This is someone's last stubbornness. Didi, the system upgrade is successful, is the host starting the system. That cold electronic synthesis sound finally echoed in his mind, calming Wang Zelin's somewhat uneasy mood. Start. He was actually a bit worried about this dumb system running away just now, but fortunately it didn't disappoint him. Sure enough, a host like him with a handsome appearance at the level of a reader's master is definitely something that can be encountered but not sought after. System Dad is indeed the one who loves me, pacifier, the compensation package reward has been sent. Please collect it in a timely manner. If not collected within 30 days, it will be automatically destroyed. Just kidding, how could you not claim it? Open it quickly. As soon as he entered, Wang Zelin was almost blinded by a purple gift package. However, I seem to have seen the rule that if you don't receive the gift package within 30 days, it will be automatically destroyed. Before he thought much, the gift package had already been opened. In view of the host's timely discovery of system bugs, a purple diamond level lottery opportunity has been specially given. We hope the host will continue to work hard and continue to explore internal system bugs. At this moment, Wang Zelin's heart was no longer icy, but surging. Cough, it was warm now. At this moment, he just wants to sing a song. Today is a good day, sing a song to bless you. The ups and downs of life are simply too exciting, making him want to pee uncontrollably. What are you waiting for? Don't smoke at this time, let's wait a little longer. After switching to the lottery panel, Wang Zelin suddenly noticed that besides the entire lottery panel turning purple, there was also a number in the middle. 1. It seems to mean that a lottery can be held. However, his gaze focused on the row of numbers in the upper right corner of the lottery panel. 14588, you are my dad. What the hell is that? Can the system explain what this string of numbers means? This row of numbers reminded Wang Zelin of the advantage he had been taken by his roommates when he was young and ignorant. He still doesn't want to look back on that dark history. Faced with the host's head full of black lines, the system said, "This is the total number of fans the host currently has." Well, it's quite meaningful. Considering that I am only 17 years old now, my influence is estimated to be within the scope of QZ City. At the very top, I am from Fujian province. Besides knowing that my family has produced such a talented player, fans from other places may not be very familiar with me. Therefore, his fan value of 14,588 is still acceptable. After forcing himself to ignore that row of numbers, Wang Zelin turned his attention to the circular purple turntable in front of him. This carousel is like a promotional event in a supermarket, with a large carousel where you can win a prize by spending a certain amount. Although this turntable is divided into 8 small blocks, the positions occupied by each small block are of average size, which means that no matter who you draw, you must be convinced. A true probability of 1/8. However, what impressed Wang Zelin the most was that the words, "Thank you for your patronage," did not appear in these 8 small sections. Yes, you didn't hear it wrong. Surprisingly, really, there was no, "Thank you for reviewing." Heaven and earth have a conscience. But upon closer inspection, he began to notice that something seemed to be wrong inside. System, why are all the players available for me to draw the lottery insiders? Isn't that right? Look at who's on the lottery section. Jabbar. O'Neal. Olajuwon. Chamberlain. Basically, it can be said that more than half of the top 10 centers in NBA history have come, except for Duncan, the number 1 power forward in history. But if we really want to investigate, that guy has been playing as a center for quite some time in his entire career, especially in the playoffs. Therefore, Wang Zelin can also accept the system placing him among those supercenters. Stupid expression. Just kidding, you guys can't tell who is the number 1 center forward in history, but I am widely recognized as the number 1 power forward in history, okay? This is called Pymian. Considering that the host mainly plays as a center forward, many stars appear in the center position, and of course, there are also some stars in the power forward position. What you said makes perfect sense, but I have nothing to say. Okay, then let's start the lottery. After a command was given, the lottery turntable immediately rotated clockwise, and the speed became faster and faster. In just a few seconds, Wang Zelin could no longer see the content on the turntable clearly. The first lottery was directly won by Wang Zelin, a purple diamond-level superstar card, who suddenly closed his eyes nervously. After silently reciting for 20 seconds, he thought to himself that it should be almost over, and then slowly opened his eyes. Oh no, system, why are you still spinning? After opening my eyes, what caught my eye was still a blurry purple turntable. The host needs to shout, "Stop," in order to end the lottery, otherwise the turntable will remain running. Why didn't you say it earlier? Host, you haven't asked this question before. After a silly chat, Wang Zelin decided to end it all. How many floors can a bag of rice carry? Shenluo Tianjing. Stop. At this moment, Wang Zelin could be described as speaking confidently and following the rules. With a command, a lifelike purple dragon suddenly appeared in the middle of the turntable, accompanied by a dragon chant. "Don't come over." Before he could shout out the words in his heart, the purple dragon had turned into a purple card, floating lightly on his chest. Fantastic. After giving a brief and relatively objective evaluation, Wang Zelin collected the card that was spinning and jumping directly on his chest, and took a closer look. "Oh, why is it green?" Superstar card Shaquille O'Neal, 10.11 season version, team. Boston Celtics age. 38 position. Center height. 216 centimeters weight. 155 kilograms, due to poor body management in old age, arms span 231 centimeters standing and touching height. 287 centimeters palm. 27.9 centimeters body hidden properties lower limb strength. 92 upper limb strength. 88 speed 32, explosive power. 65 agility. 57 bounce. 50 bullet speed. 48, physical fitness. 55 anti-injury. 81 offensive capability by hitting. 76 layup. 86 mid-throw. 35 long throw. 25 dunk. 70 passing. 40 control. 51 free throws. 55 breakthrough. 46 defensive ability external defense. 30 internal defense. 62 backboard. 51 block. 65 snatching. 45 overall score. 66, qualified substitute player, still trustworthy in critical moments, evaluation. Shaquille O'Neal, who is in his twilight years of career, has a career-high shooting percentage of 66.7% in just 20 minutes per game, averaging 9.2 points, 4.8 rebounds, 1.1 blocks, 0.7 steals, and 0.4 assists per game. This large diesel engine clearly has fuel in its fuel tank. Nevertheless, the pride of the superstar still made him unable to accept the embarrassing situation of being kicked around like a football by others, and in the end, he resolutely chose to bid farewell briefly and decisively. Talent skills. Natural divine power, purple diamond. This talent allows the player to naturally have a maximum strength attribute value of 99, note. The host can have max strength attribute values through postnatal training, blaze the heavenly sovereign, silver, after physical contact with the opposing player within the 3-second zone, use your body to forcefully collide and dunk, slightly increasing the success rate of the dunk. The 3 attributes of dunking, bouncing, and bouncing speed can all be improved by 4 points within 5 seconds. If a player completes the dunk, it will have an encouraging effect on their teammates and restore 5% of their teammates' physical strength. Emotions. This is O'Neal from the Green Army era. Wait, I remember what was written in the system. Isn't this a purple diamond giant card? The rating limit is as high as 99. Why did you give me such a green shark with a rating of only 66? Shouldn't it be a purple gold shark? Wang Zelin strongly condemns this behavior of deceiving customers. The ability of the Green Army era's O'Neal mentioned above, the author's reference is the 2008 version of the Son O'Neal from NBA 2K. I can't help but play basketball games like this. Of course, the numerical value has also been somewhat weakened. After all, during the Suns era, O'Neal was able to achieve an average of nearly double-doubles per game, which is a big gap from the 9+4 in the Green Army era. However, I believe that attributes such as strength, layups, dunks, and relying on hitting will not decrease much. After all, these are O'Neal's eating skills. He just can't compare his physical fitness, agility, and dynamic jumping ability to previous years. If you have any other opinions, please feel free to leave a comment. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Foreign aid level strong, terrifying like this. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Foreign aid level strong, terrifying like this. Firstly, this system is a veteran inheritance system. As the name suggests, the player cards drawn are from the later stages of their career or even their old age. Secondly, the host should check the lottery rules themselves. After winning a player card, they can inherit the player card's abilities and talents, while the superstar card is written with a maximum ability score of 99, not a comprehensive score limit. Stupid as a chicken. Well, you are the boss, and you are the final say. After receiving an official answer, Wang Zelin could only acknowledge this result. Old O'Neal, why can't he be the O'Neal of the night and sun period? Sigh. Although the Celtics version of O'Neal is still an unattainable presence for the current Wang Zelin. But only when he thought about the chance he had to get to the sun and nights like the 12+10, 17+8 era of O'Neal, he couldn't help but feel a bit reluctant in his heart. Human nature is ultimately greedy. Who doesn't want more? After putting away his mental state, the superstar card of Green Army O'Neal still left Wang Zelin deeply shocked. Lower limb strength 92. Upper limb strength 88. Layup 86. Mine, it's all mine now. Although this is already the last year of Shaquille O'Neal's career as a big shark, his ability level can still be said to have fully covered Wang Zelin. Apart from his speed attribute, he has 8 points more than his old Shaquille O'Neal and 9 points more than his mid-range shooting attribute. In all other abilities, he cannot match the latter. That doesn't mean that O'Neal, who is 21 years older than himself, can simply describe himself as a son if he wants to beat himself, who is 17 years old. To quote Uncle Ben Sean, I really feel sad for you. System, why can O'Neal's anti-injury attribute reach 81? This is obviously unreasonable. Even if O'Neal's free throw ability is 55 like his own, Wang Zelin also recognizes it. After all, although the outside world may say how bad a powerful serve is, in fact, this guy's free throw percentage is still steadily over 50%, and his career high season is as high as 62%. But for O'Neal's injury resistance, it is almost twice as much as his own, which he cannot tolerate. After verification, as of the end of Shaquille O'Neal's career, he has never suffered any devastating injuries throughout his entire career. Firstly, it is because O'Neal has a habit of playing dead in the regular season and putting in more effort in the playoffs. Secondly, he is skilled at using his own strength and weight to play, simplifying his movements and avoiding unnecessary physical wear and tear. Thirdly, he has a natural talent. I don't know if he heard it wrong, but he always feels that when the system says that O'Neal has exceptional talent, the decibel is obviously much larger than before. Wang Zelin scratched his head, feeling that what the system was saying was indeed somewhat reasonable. In this impression, this big shark usually raises about 10 or even more games every year. It can be said that he sacrificed his regular season honors in exchange for his super long career as a center and divine performance in the playoffs. Otherwise, with the Sharks' peak dominance, how could there be only one regular MVP? It is obvious that their gaze is farther than most people's. Undoubtedly, he is one of the few highly educated talents in the NBA. If I remember correctly, he will also receive a PhD in Human Resources from Barry University in May next year. TSK system, how do I inherit the ability of this card? After the host switches to the personal panel, simply place the corresponding superstar card on your personal profile picture. When he placed the O'Neal superstar card on his avatar, the card instantly turned into a purple light and slowly integrated into the avatar. Didi, congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining the superstar card. You can choose to inherit all the abilities and talents of Shaquille O'Neal, version 10.11, or specify to inherit a certain part. It's also interesting to specify a certain part. Excluding the 4 attributes of speed, mid-range shooting, long-range shooting, and free throws, I need all the remaining abilities and talents. As you know. Wait. Wang Zelin suddenly thought, it seems that he hasn't clearly stated whether he can inherit things such as height, weight, arm span, and touch height. If it could be inherited, then I would probably be able to discard the title of domestic Tyrannosaurus Rex. You should know that even though this is old Shaquille O'Neal, whose dynamic body talent has already declined, his static body talent is also at the historical level. Just talking about the arm show, if Jifen can have O'Neal's level of arm show talent, then he will not end his career as an all-star, unable to become a real superstar. After saying, "Can I inherit O'Neal's height and arm span?" Wang Zelin couldn't help but swallow his saliva. I can't help it, but the meat of this big shark is really too appetizing. Can inherit. After the B system remained silent for a while, the answer was finally given. After recognizing 0.0001 seconds, Wang Zelin immediately burst into a wild laugh, ahahaha. After a moment, he calmed down again and tentatively asked, "System, can I selectively inherit a portion of O'Neal's weight?" System. You currently hold the most precious superstar card, of course you can. Jess. After careful consideration, Wang Zelin chose to become a 130-kilogram version of the small shark. Since he knew that the future basketball boom would be the era of small balls, he naturally wanted to protect his precious ankles. You should know that as of 2020, the heaviest player currently on duty in the NBA is Boban, who is 2.31 meters tall and weighs 132 kilograms. The second place is basketball genius Zion Williamson, who is said to be rare in a century. Zion, who is 2.01 meters tall, weighs 129 kilograms. I don't know how he managed to complete the free throw line jump dunk with so much flesh hanging on his body. He's really a strange flower. However, when it comes to my weight of 130 kilograms, even in the era of small balls, I am undoubtedly a prehistoric beast, not to mention the theoretical ability to reach a maximum strength of 99 through training. Just as Wang Zelin was battling everything in the era of small balls, the personal attribute panel appeared once again. Name: Wang Zelin Team. Fujian Men's Basketball Youth Team / China National Men's Basketball Youth Team. Age: 17. Position: Center. Height: 212 centimeters. Weight: 112 kilograms. Arm span: 227 centimeters. Standing and touching height: 284 centimeters. Palm: 27.9 centimeters. Body hidden properties: lower limb strength: 66. Upper limb strength: 60. Speed: 40. Explosive power: 47. Agility: 52. Bounce: 45. Bullet speed: 45. Physical fitness: 49. Anti-injury: 58. Offensive capability by hitting: 51. Layup: 62. Mid-throw: 44. Long throw: 25. Dunk: 55. Passing: 33. Control: 46. Free throws: 55. Breakthrough: 33. Defensive ability: external defense: 25. Internal defense: 38. Backboard: 43. Block: 45. Snatching: 33. Comprehensive score: 52. CBA Foreign Aid Level Evaluation. Although young, it has enormous potential and is not yet recommended to enter the NBA. It still requires some time to hone. Talent. Skills: Natural divine power, purple diamond. This talent allows the host to have max-level strength attributes through postnatal training. Blaze the heavenly sovereign, silver plus. After making physical contact with the opposing player within 3 seconds, use your body to forcefully collide and dunk, slightly increasing the success rate of the dunk. The 3 attributes of dunking, jumping, and bouncing speed can all increase by 4 points within 3 seconds. If a player completes the dunk, it will have an encouraging effect on their teammates and restore their physical strength by 5%. The comprehensive rating of players in this book is set as follows. 99.95, Historical Superstar 94.90. Superstars 89.85. All-Star 84.80. Quasi All-Star 79.75. Starting Players 74.70. Rotation Core 69.65. Qualified Substitute 64.60. NBA Edge Man 59.50. CBA Foreign Aid 49.25. Low reference value. The corresponding levels of individual ability values are as follows, such as 3 points. 99.90, Sagittarius 89.80. Top scorer 79.70. Elite pitcher 69.60. Stable pitcher 59.50. Vacant pitcher 49.25. The reference value is not significant. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Bronze dogs have their own stubbornness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Bronze dogs have their own stubbornness through feedback from the system. Wang Zelin also understands that the abilities of this O'Neal superstar card are not immediately effective, but are fused in order of easy first and then difficult. Firstly, the fusion efficiency of static body talents such as height, arm span, and weight is the fastest, while the fusion of dynamic body talents such as strength, bounce, and explosive power and various ability values requires a period of adjustment. According to the system, player cards with the same level of strength can be quickly converted into their own strength, and can even be said to be effective upon use. For example, if he draws a bronze-level player card now, the corresponding player's ability value will immediately be inherited from him. If it is a black iron-level player card, it requires a certain amount of time, ranging from 1 week to 1 month depending on the individual abilities, 60.69. Silver level only takes 1.3 months, gold level takes 3.6 months, and the most powerful purple diamond card takes about a year. Of course, Wang Zelin can also accelerate fusion efficiency through his own training. To put it simply, although the system can make him stronger, it is ultimately just an auxiliary tool. If you really want to step onto the peak and appreciate the scenery above, you still cannot do without your own efforts. System, what does the plus sign after the talent of critical deduction mean? Can you still upgrade it? That's right, Shaquille O'Neal, at his peak, possessed a total of 5 talent skills. Innate divine power, purple diamond level, critical knockdown, purple diamond level, terminator, purple diamond level, combative, golden level, and penalty area overlord, golden level. However, apart from a unique innate divine power, the remaining 4 talents were almost exhausted. If he were to retire, the silver level critical knockdown would also disappear. The host can increase their fan value, including the Heavenly Lord's talent level, with the upper limit restored to the purple diamond level. 5 talents, is this Nima a monster? Just a natural divine power and the ability to slam the Heavenly Sovereign have already made Wang Zelin yearn for the historical superpower of O'Neal during his peak period. But the cruel reality told him that he still underestimated these animals. Wait, does that mean that the current number 1 active player in the NBA league? Old BJ, that guy also has innate skills. Suddenly, Wang Zelin felt like he had discovered something extraordinary. Your guess is correct. After a brief shock, Wang Zelin's heart was still more excited, which was a wave of indomitable fighting spirit originating from the depths of the man's heart. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors told us, Wang Ho, generals, and prime ministers have the guts. He doesn't believe it anymore. With the support of cheating, he can't even handle the likes of old BJ, elementary school students, and migrant worker do. A senior O'Neal is not enough, then I'll add another senior Olajuwon, senior Jabbar. He believes that one day he will definitely gather the top 10 center forwards in history, and by then he will not be in the 6 gods costume, but in the 10 gods costume. Who is afraid of who? Anyway, even with a minimum guarantee, we can share the benefits equally. After regaining his confidence, Wang Zelin shifted his gaze to the plus sign behind the skill of the Thunderbolt Heavenly Lord, and without much thought, he simply clicked on it. Drip, talent skill. Silver level critical deduction of Heavenly Sovereign has been upgraded to gold level, requiring a fan value of 5 million. The current fan value is insufficient, please keep working hard. With 5 million followers, it's enough to meet half of the gold level lottery. Sorry to bother you. Once again, I switched to the lottery panel, and this time the entire panel turned white, abbreviated as the whiteboard. Looking at the string of numbers in the upper right corner of the whiteboard. 14588, the black history in my mind came to mind again. System, I want to conduct a bronze level lottery. The current fan value is available for a bronze level lottery. Please choose whether to run it or not. Yes. Although the owner conducted this lottery partly because they couldn't stand the numbers, more importantly, it was because the interest in betting on dogs had returned. This time, the turntable unexpectedly turned bronze, indicating that each level of lottery has its own color. Stop. Woo, woof, woof. Underscore, why is there such a big difference between the special effects of purple diamond and bronze? The former is a dragon, and the latter is a dog. It turns out that disdain for chains is really everywhere. System, you really disappoint me. Player card. Maris Spets, 2018.2019 edition, Team. CBA Guangzhou Dragon and Lion Team Age. 31 Position. Center height. 208 centimeters weight. 125 kilograms arm span. 217 centimeters body. Hidden properties: lower limb strength. 35 upper limb strength. 32 speed. 51 explosive power. 40 agility. 48 bounce. 41 bullet speed. 35 physical fitness. 50 anti-injury. 52 offensive capability by hitting. 44 layup. 50 mid-throw. 55 long throw. 58 dunk. 45 pass. 40 control. 50 free throws. 52 breakthrough. 36 defensive ability external defense. 25 internal defense. 28 backboard. 35 block. 30 snatching. 33 comprehensive score. 55 CBA superstar level evaluation. A typical spatial interior in the era of small balls, with good mid to long range shooting ability, but extremely weak defensive presence. Well, for this black player who doesn't have any impression in his mind, after reading his export ability and the system's evaluation, he probably knows what type of player he is. Attack with 2 knives, defend with 10,000 stabs. After experiencing the impact of the superstar card, Wang Zelin couldn't get any interest in the limited bronze card, which was only paired with a dog effect bronze card. It was truly a bronze dog. Although he appeared disdainful on the surface, some of Malispet's attributes still caught Wang Zelin's eye. A mid-range shot of 55 and a long-range shot of 58 really rely entirely on shooting to make a living. However, it will soon be cheaper for me. He also checked the data in the system about this guy's performance with the Guangzhou Dragon and Lions team. He played 29 games, started 14 games, played 31.8 minutes, averaged 22.7 points and 7.4 rebounds per game, and made an average of 19 shots and 7.9 rebounds per game, including three-pointers. He made an average of 8.7 hits and 3.1 rebounds per game, accounting for almost half of the total shots. Don't be fooled by Maris Speck's average of 7.4 rebounds per game, but his defensive rebounds are only 6.1 and his offensive rebounds are only 1.3. No wonder his final rebounding ability is only 35. The bronze player card has been drawn, and the host can specify to inherit any of its abilities. Please choose. Do we still need to consider it? I'll take 3 points. This guy's value is basically not what he wants except for shooting. My mid-range shooting ability at 44 is not low anymore. As long as I practice more, it's only a matter of time before reaching 50. On the contrary, my long-range shooting ability is the lowest at 25. For an older generation basketball player like his father Wang Changhai, the task of a center is to sit under the basket, and the attacking methods mainly focus on standing dunks, hooks, or mid to close range jump shots. As for the 3 points, I'm sorry, we don't even practice this at all. But now that he knows that the future is a small ball era with a 3-point ball as the main melody, Wang Zelin naturally chose 3-point. The ability extraction has been completed, and the host's current remaining fan value is 4,588. Please keep working hard. After calling up the personal panel this time, he had already seen that his 3-point ability had increased to 58, and the overall rating had also increased from 52 to 56. The rating also had the words CBA Superstar Level that he had just noticed. After the lottery ended, Wang Zelin closed the system panel and grabbed the basketball that had fallen to the ground, looking at the basket frame in front of him with fighting spirit. The short station has arrived, looking for a wave of investment and the recommended tickets in everyone's hands. Jin Zai is still a student party member, and he doesn't have much time. He can only guarantee that this book will be updated twice a day before it is put on the shelves. He should save more manuscripts and wait until it is put on the shelves before it becomes more popular. Please forgive me. P.S. Thank you for the suggestion from the book friend Yuza Olihi. We previously overlooked the possibility of being checked for water meters, which was a bit careless. Therefore, to avoid unnecessary trouble, Wang Zelin will be changed to Wang Zelin in the future. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. What reasons can stop a man from setting sail? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. What reasons can stop a man from setting sail? This time Wang Zelin didn't go to play dunk again because he wanted to try 3-pointers. If anyone had noticed this scene now, they would definitely find it very strange. A large center with a length of 2.1 meters did not enter the inside line, but stood outside the 3-point line. Ready to pitch 3-pointers. In this era, it is absolutely incomprehensible and unforgivable. One reason is that the spatial interior lines have not yet become as rampant as they were later. The second is that Dwight Howard, the last representative of traditional centers, remains the top center in the current league, so the overall atmosphere of the league has not undergone a fundamental change. After taking a habitual deep breath, Wang Zelin's gaze was fixed on the basket ahead. With the help of his calves, he lifted the ball above his head, and his body naturally stretched out. With a flick of his fingers, he threw the ball, and the basketball made a beautiful arc as if it had been installed with a locator. With a loud bang, it hit the neck of the basketball. Awkwardness. That doesn't exist. Wang Zelin's eyebrows tightened at first and soon relaxed again. Although the 3-point ability suddenly rose to 58, this is still the first 3-point in one's life, and it is normal not to make progress. Only by making progress can there be ghosts. After running over with a cold expression to pick up the ball, he continued to run outside the 3-point line. Pop pop pop. Pop 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 shwa shwa shwa. The sound of hammering continued to resound throughout this field, occasionally accompanied by a few swish 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 sounds. In the blink of an eye, it was already noon, and Wang Zelin had been practicing for a full 4 hours. Not only 3-pointers, mid-range shots, and under-the-basket hooks, but also practice. Of course, the most practiced one is still dunking. A boy who has never dunked can never imagine the thrill it brings after truly completing a dunk for the first time. Dunking too much can be addictive. This reminded him of when he first started playing 2K games. He spent a huge sum of money, $588, to buy a Jordan dunk bag, and then played a free throw line jump dunk in the game's training camp for an afternoon. Women, never ask your boyfriend, who is important between games and me. Once you ask this question, the answer is already revealed. This is a personal experience of one of his friends. Wang Zelin, who was alone at home, didn't want to be too troublesome. At noon, he casually cooked some noodles and added yesterday's leftovers to make do with the meal. By 7:30 p.m., Wang Changhai and his wife had already returned and had made a sumptuous dinner. "Come, Zelin, this is your favorite fried beef. Come and try it out. How does it taste?" After serving the last dish of homemade stir-fried beef on the table, Mrs. Wang immediately added a piece of beef tenderloin and placed it in Wang Zelin's bowl. "Mom, I'm not sure about your craft yet. You don't even need to taste it. Just by smelling the smell, I know it must be delicious." That's what he said, but Wang Zelin still couldn't control his hands and threw the beef tenderloin from the bowl into his mouth. How fragrant! As soon as the beef entered his mouth, he chewed it slightly, and its freshness was beyond his imagination. However, after careful chewing, he found that the beef was tender and smooth, yet still full of strength. A sudden and unusually comfortable feeling immediately spread throughout his body. If it's fragrant, eat more. Praise from children is always the most desired word for every mother in the world, and it is also the greatest encouragement for them. Wang's father beside him saw this scene and smiled lightly, saying, "Huiqing, do you think that Zelin seems to be taller than before?" "Oh, I didn't even notice it if you didn't say it, but just by looking at it, this child is indeed a bit taller." As former professional basketball players, Wang Changhai and his wife are still very sensitive to the issue of height. After a brief microscopic examination of their situation, they roughly guessed that their son had become taller again. "Woo-woo, I just took a measurement in the afternoon. If I don't wear shoes now, woo-woo, my height is already 2.11 meters. If I wear shoes, it's almost 2.14 meters. Seeing my parents discussing my height, I didn't mind the beef in my mouth and directly reported my current height. 2.11 meters. Lao Wang, this is different from the result we obtained when we performed bone-touching surgery on him back then, said Wang Mu with some concern. Faced with his wife's concerns, Wang's father smiled and said, "Don't worry, I have checked before and found that the most suitable period for teenagers to undergo bone-touching surgery is actually around the age of 12 or 3. We advanced it by 2 years at that time, which led to errors. Will our son continue to grow like this?" Although her husband has already explained, she is still a bit worried. "Don't worry, although there is some deviation from the original result of 2.08 meters, Xiaolin's maximum is only around 2.15 meters, which does not affect his playing." "That's good. That's good. Alright, Dad and Mom, don't worry too much about me. I'm not sure about my own health yet, right? I'm fine, we should be eating soon, otherwise this dish will be cold." In the blink of an eye, it was 8:00, and the family of 3 had already finished dinner and sat neatly in the living room. "What's wrong, Zelin? What's up?" Seeing his son's hesitant expression, Father Wang took the initiative to speak. As parents, no one knows their son better than the two of them. Although they are usually optimistic and cheerful, whenever there is something on their minds, they will immediately become stuttering. "Dad, I want to play CBA." After hearing his father speak first, Wang Zelin felt relieved and then lifted his head to face his father's eyes, speaking his heart. "Ah." The Queen Mother on the side was somewhat surprised to see it. "Can you tell me when you had this idea?" Although Wang's father was a bit surprised, he had already anticipated such a day, but he didn't expect it to come so early. "Actually, since the last few all-star charity matches, I have had this idea," Wang Zelin said as he instinctively clenched his right fist. "Among my peers, there aren't many people who can put pressure on me anymore. I want to step onto a larger stage and compete with stronger opponents." "But you're only 17 years old. Yao Ming joined the Sharks team at the age of 17, and Yi Jianlian joined Guangdong Hongyuan at the age of 16. Dad, I don't think your son is inferior to them. Wang Zelin's words completely blocked Wang Changhai's next words. This. But. The Queen Mother on the side saw this scene and looked left and right, feeling so anxious that she couldn't speak for a moment. Dad and Mom, please believe me. My goal is the NBA, so I need bigger challenges. Watching this suddenly unfamiliar son, Wang Changhai fell silent, but more joy followed in his heart. Because through the high fighting spirit and firm determination conveyed in Wang Zelin's eyes, he understood that his son was starting to grow up and would make his own decisions. Wang Changhai, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly turned his head and glanced at his wife. Then he turned his head and said seriously, if this is your choice, then go. Thank you, Dad. Just as Wang Zelin was excited, Wang Changhai spoke. But remember, you are a man, and the most important thing for a man is to have a sense of responsibility. Since you have made a choice, you must persevere. I don't want you to regret it one day. No problem. At this moment, he almost roared. That night, Wang Zelin was so excited that he slowly fell asleep at 3:30 in the middle of the night. In a room not too far away, you can still vaguely see the lights shining inside through the crack in the door. Old Wang, why did Zelin suddenly have the idea to play CBA? After all, he is still a child. Old Wang, you must say something. Lin Huiqing, who couldn't sleep after tossing and turning, kicked her husband beside her with her foot. Zelin has started to have his own opinions, he is no longer a child. Wang Changhai picked up the nearby water glass and took a sip of cold boiled water. But he, alas. All right, you just love to worry recklessly, your children and grandchildren have their own blessings. Wang Changhai smiled and hugged the woman beside him who had spent nearly 20 years of ups and downs with him, his life full of indulgence. Besides, what reason can stop a man from setting sail? Yes, Jean Zai is going to write CBA again, after all, this is a necessary transitional period. However, please rest assured that this time I will draw lessons from the previous book. The plot of CBA will not be described too much, and the battle will end within 20 chapters at most. I won't write 180 chapters like in the previous book. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Focus on horizontal push. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 9. Fujian's new foreign aid. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Fujian's new foreign aid. I didn't come in vain today, as I said earlier, my son will definitely not disappoint you. After the physical examination results came out, Wang Changhai's heart was also shaken, but on the surface, he still showed a clear and calm demeanor. Come on, you stinking boy, don't be a cheapskate. Do you know you have a good son? Lu Yudong had already found his old friend's smile, and could not help roast. He he. Wang Changhai couldn't hold back this time and laughed foolishly with joy. You laugh, der. Look at your confident appearance. If only this kid were my son. Someone who happened to have a lemon started cursing secretly in their heart. The sudden retirement of Yao Ming has had a huge impact on the Chinese people and basketball fans around the world. Although it has been almost 2 months, many Chinese fans are still in a state of sadness and confusion. Fortunately, looking at the handsome young man in front of him, who was able to unleash more than 100 kilograms of power, Lu Yudong felt relieved in his heart. Perhaps there were successors for the Chinese men's basketball team. Coach, should we continue? Wang Zelin looked at Fan Bin's person for a while without saying a word, and took the initiative to ask. Oh, good. The test continues. After completing the most basic physical data test, Wang Zelin went on to conduct various personal skills tests. Watching Wang Zelin, who had completed the test and was performing a dunk there. Fan Bin and the others smiled knowingly and got together to communicate. How about it, Xiao Lao and Yudong? What are your opinions on Zelin's performance? Fan Bin did not first put forward his own viewpoint, but wanted to hear the opinions of his friends. The basic skills are very solid, and he has a big and gentle feel, as well as good mid to long-range shooting ability. Even compared to his peers like Yao Ming or A. League, he is no less impressive. After scanning the crowd, the oldest and most experienced Xiao Guanbi smiled and put forward his own conclusion. His position is very clear. He is very optimistic about Wang Zelin. Well, my opinion is the same as the teacher's. Zelin is a very promising child, and his static physical talent is definitely the best I have ever seen in China. Although his dynamic ability is a bit poor, he is only 17 years old and has a lot of room for growth. Lu Yudong's words can be said to have been deeply ingrained in everyone's hearts. As is well known, the center forward is the player with the longest growth period and the latest peak period among the 5 positions on the basketball court. Generally, it is after 22, or even around 25, that a center's true peak period arrives. Even for super centers like Jabbar, O'Neal, and Olajuwon, although they had extremely strong personal abilities when they first entered the league, most of them were already around 22 years old by the time they entered the league, and their period of success was around 30 years old. The advantage of age has made Wang Zelin gain a lot of points in the hearts of these big shots. Just as everyone was chatting happily, a beautiful woman with refreshing short hair and a tall black player arrived at the stadium. As the woman approached, Wang Zelin suddenly felt his little heart beating faster. What is this situation? Why did it suddenly jump so fast, even though I didn't feel it? But after a casual glance at his chest, Wang Zelin calmed down a lot and lowered his head. It seems that this product is not my own tissue, so I'll just open it up. Mr. Wu, why are you here? Fan Bin suddenly remembered the team's signing plan for this year as he looked at Wu Bolan, the deputy general manager of the team. Coach Fan Bin, I happen to have something good to tell you. The person next to me is. Then Wu Bolan began introducing the black player next to him. Player. Will McDonald team. Undetermined age. 32 height. 212 centimeters weight. 105 kilograms arm span 216 centimeters standing and touching height. 263 centimeters hand size. 23.7 centimeters body hidden talent lower limb strength. 48 upper limb strength. 51 speed. 42 physical fitness. 45 comprehensive score. 53, CBA foreign aid level, rating. This player has no potential at all. He is an average attacking and defensive weak player, and his scoring methods often rely on three-pointers from both corners, close-range jump shots, and hook shots under the basket. After a rough glance at the ability attributes of his potential competitor, Wang Zelin quickly felt relieved. Although according to the records in the system, Fujian men's basketball team will spend a huge amount of money to bring in 3 foreign players this season, and center McDonald from the European League will play for Fujian for 3 seasons starting from the current 2011-2012 season, with outstanding performances of about 20 points and 10 rebounds each season. In the season when I first arrived, I had a star average of 27.6 points, 9.9 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game. However, when Wang Zelin noticed that McDonald's team affiliation was displayed as untimely, he immediately laughed. It seems that this guy will be a good stepping stone. If nothing unexpected happens, McDonald will be Wang Zelin's first direct competitor in the CBA. Only by suppressing the latter in a direct confrontation can he occupy the starting center position of Fujian Xuanxing men's basketball. Apart from speed and mid-range shooting, this guy's remaining abilities are unmatched by him, and Wang Zelin doesn't know how to lose. As expected, just as Wu Bolan was getting more and more enthusiastic, she didn't notice that head coach Fan Bin's eyebrows were getting tighter and tighter, especially when she heard that Fujian Chuanqing Men's Basketball Club was preparing to sign McDonald for 2 years and $1.2 million. Fan Bin finally interrupted Wu Bolan's speech. "Mr. Wu, coincidentally I also have something to discuss with you." What's going on?" "It's like this." After a brief communication, Wu Bolan took over the physical examination report that Fan Bin had received and carefully examined it. "I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect Zelin's talent to be so strong." Wu Bolan, who is only 27 years old this year, sat in the position of a senior executive at a young age, which meant that she was not a bag of wine or rice. On the contrary, stemming from her love for basketball, she chose this job, so naturally she could see through the weight of this physical examination report. "Bolan, I also think I'm quite strong," Wang Zelin said quietly in Wu Bolan's ear as he leaned in at some point. Originally, he joined the Fujian youth team at the age of 14, and in his impression, he had a good personal relationship with his sister, who was not much older than him. In fact, he could vaguely sense the subtle affection he had for the short-haired woman in front of him. There is no misunderstanding, it is a simple and innocent young man who has a vague yet inexplicable and wonderful emotion towards his kind-hearted elder sister. After all, a man's true nature. Now Wang Zelin understands why his little heart was beating so fast just now. Emotions are influenced by his original memories. Otherwise, as an experienced driver who has driven various brands of cars in his previous life, how could he be moved by his own emotions? Because of his heart, it has long been shattered into countless pieces. Alas, the hero doesn't mention his courage back then. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Donald. Really? I don't believe it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Is Donald really? I don't believe it. Stinky kid, you still know how to tease your sister. Do you want to be beaten? Wu Bolan is a typical female powerhouse, even a work maniac, so she has never found a boyfriend, but after all, she is 27 years old and has already understood what she should know. Wait, this kid used to be quite shy when he saw me, didn't he? Why is it so open today? After realizing it, Wu Bolan suddenly lifted her head and looked seriously at the youthful and delicate face in front of her. The smile was still so sunny, and it was this gaze that suddenly became so sharp and lively, as if trying to see through herself. Don't stare at him like that, he's still a child, that's embarrassing. The sudden sound in his ear startled Wu Bolan. After regaining her senses, she noticed that everyone around her was looking at her and Wang Zelin with unusually strange eyes. Ah! I'm dying, I'm dying. Wu Bolan, what were you doing just now? At this moment, Wu Bolan seemed to be at a large-scale social death scene, and her handsome face quickly covered in blush. Good kid, everyone would tease your sister. How come I don't realize you're so tough on a regular basis? That's just because you lacked a pair of discerning eyes before, but today you just happened to have an epiphany. I don't know why, but after seeing this woman again with a suppressed mood that had crossed my time, I unexpectedly got excrement, and my mouth began to speak incessantly. Can we still have a good chat? I'm here for business, okay? Why is this kid so weird today? I'm so angry. My chest hurts so much. Although there were many doubts in her chest, Wu Bolan still remembered her own business after all. But as soon as I thought about what was going on, the worries that had already been suppressed once again came to my mind. According to the original plan, Fujian men's basketball team will introduce 3 foreign players during the off-season this year, namely Will McDonald, Seth Abbas, and Anthony Robertson. The latter two have already been settled, just short of the current McDonald. Not long ago, the headquarters sent him to the European League to communicate with him, and finally made a heavy promise to persuade the other party to go to Fujian men's basketball team for trial. However, Cheng Yao-jin was unexpectedly killed halfway through, and unfortunately, this Cheng Yao-jin is not only an acquaintance with him, but his medical report and technical evaluation have completely attracted Coach Fan Bin. At this moment, Wu Bolan's gaze towards Wang Zelin was filled with resentment. I'm too difficult. Bolan, the big black man you brought is the foreign player that Fujian men's basketball team is preparing to sign. Oh, how did you know? Wu Bolan looked at Wang Zelin with some surprise. There has been no official announcement about the introduction of foreign players, and outsiders can't know except for the internal staff of the club. Our club has been recruiting since 2009, hoping to achieve even better results in the playoffs. However, last season our team did not perform as well as the previous 4 years. If I were the owner, I would have been willing to increase my investment and spend a lot of money hiring foreign players. After all, even though the money has already been spent so much, the results cannot be achieved. Now there is a gambler who has already taken the lead and will not give up until the goal is achieved. Besides, that guy's height should be around 2.1 meters, and judging from his good physique, if you say he's not a basketball player, would you believe it? After a speech, Wu Bolan, felt like she had underestimated this little brother a bit before. If I guess correctly, you should be struggling with how to deal with me and that person now. Although Wang Zelin already knows the name of this black player, what should be done still needs to be done. His name is Will McDonald. Yes, it's this McDonald. Since he's here, we can't neglect him. Why don't we let him have a trial first? Looking at Wang Zelin's confident expression, Wu Bolan frowned and said, Quickly, McDonald's basic physical data test was out. Although it can be said that compared to the average center in China, it is very excellent, but compared to Wang Zelin, it is somewhat inferior. The coaching staff led by Fan Bin shook their heads as they looked at each other. But the process still had to continue, and McDonald began his skill testing. After more than 10 minutes, the entire measurement was completely over. Except for the 3-point bottom angle on both sides and the relatively skilled close-range attack frame, his other measurement results were somewhat unsatisfactory, especially the bench push, which only completed 4. Although it is clear that European insiders like McDonald have the advantage of delicate technology, agile footwork, and good range. But as the saying goes, although Donald's performance is much stronger than most center forwards in the CBA league, it is not enough compared to Wang Zelin. The saying goes, if pearls and jade are in front, tiles and stones are difficult to handle. Mr. Wu, I believe you also have a suitable candidate in your heart. Go tell Mr. Donald. Since Wu Bolan found the person herself, she naturally had to kick the ball back on her own. I know, Wu Bolan replied lightly and walked straight towards McDonald. Mr. Donald, I'm sorry, you're not suitable for our team. Oh, is there a signing issue? I was already prepared. Wait, Miss Wu, do you mean, I lost the election? McDonald, who was full of joy, was ready to sign, but he didn't expect such a result for himself. Why? Such a result is obviously not what McDonald wants to see. She urgently wants the other party to give herself a reasonable explanation. Did these Chinese people forget how they begged for themselves in Europe? Mr. Donald, please accept the fact that our team already has a better choice, so we are sorry. Seeing McDonald's face gradually turning gloomy, Wu Bolan continued, but please rest assured that we will provide some economic compensation for the delay of your considerable time. Your round-trip airfare will be paid for by our club. A better choice. No, you're not going to tell me your so-called better choice is that little one. That's really ridiculous. The $1 million contract that was about to be obtained flew away like this, which gradually worsened McDonald's mood. Soon, he noticed Wang Zelin not far away. That's right, this is the measurement result of the two of you. Take a look for yourself. McTurner's words also ignited an unnamed passion in Wu Bolan's heart, but years of cultivation still kept her calm and quiet in explaining. Hee. Do you think I would believe it's a false report? After Wu Bolin rudely took the report from his hand and saw the difference in physical fitness between himself and the 17-year-old boy named Wang Zelin, a smile appeared on his face instead. To be precise, it is an undisguised mockery. There are a lot of things to attend to today, so I have sent both chapters. By the way, we are going to deliver the contract this afternoon. Welcome to Invest. End of this chapter.